So this is a book. I heard an interview on ILW TV between this rabbi, who is Rabbi Raphael Shore, and the commentator there. And it's amazing what this war has brought out. Who's afraid of the big bad Jew? And I was so impressed by this, listening to this Rabbi Shore, that I wanted to get the book. And so I went to Amazon right away, and I typed in "Who's afraid of the big bad Jew?" And what came out was "Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?" So I couldn't find it. So I Googled it. Google said that Amazon had it. So I went back to Amazon, and Amazon in a secondary seller, which I can't remember the name who I bought it from, but through Amazon, I got the book. So this is a title which nobody wants you to hear. Look at the giant Jew here. And Hitler has to destroy him. So do the jihadis. All the peace protesters got to destroy the big bad Jew. Okay, so this, once again, just a little bit more on the cover. Rabbi Raphael Shore. This is a profound work of a philosophy and history, and it was a quote from George Gilder, author of the Israel Test. Now, let me see, there's some other things here. We have a lot of approbations from many people. This is a book everybody needs to buy. Who's afraid of the big bad Jew? And then he says, learning to love the lessons of Jew hatred. Learning to love the lessons of Jew hatred. We're in a time right now. This is June the 3rd, right before 4th of July, big holiday in the United States. If you're listening to this and you still understand English, 200 years from now. We're at war. The Jewish people are at war with the Muslim world. And not getting any help from our brother Esav in Europe. And we finally have some Donald Trump, for his reasons, are getting involved, and really helping us out. They're giving us some protection. So here we have this book now, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Jew? So he dedicates this book to my family. This is the table of contents. Buy this book. Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Jew? So the introduction, who's afraid, he writes. Now let's see how we can get this zoomed in so we can see it good. No Jews allowed. That was the sign my high school friends hung the door of our usual weekend haunt. How blissfully ignorant had I been. As I was growing up, I never cared much or thought much about Judaism or my Jewishness. I was not one to search for answers to life's mysteries, not even the obvious things. I was more of the partying type. Perhaps I was even heading out the door of Judaism or the Jewish people. Growing up happily in the small town of London, Ontario, Canada, among the northern snows, I gave little thought to things like that. A lousy Hebrew school education at my family's conservative synagogue had convinced me that there was no compelling meaning to my Jewish identity, just some empty rituals and silly Bible stories. But the wake-up call came on that fateful Friday night in 1978. Now, going back, this man is about, my guess, 15 years younger than me. So he says, when my long-standing friends locked the doors to the routine weekend party and told me my brother and other Jewish friend, Stuart, that we were not welcome, I was shocked to the core. And it was then that I got into my first fight. It was a fist fight. Stuart had regularly suggested to me that many of our, quote, friends harbored anti-Semitic feelings. Maybe that's why the hockey jock guy laughed at me when he broke my finger playing soccer. But I had always disagreed with him. Until then, anti-Semitism was real. But what was there about us to hate? I was just like everybody else. Why would any hate me over religion I didn't practice or know anything about? The startling reality that hit me at age 17 was experienced by Jews around the world recently when Hamas committed its cruel massacre of 1,200 Jews on October 7, 2023. The vicious attack, which included indiscriminate killing and raping, shocked people the world over. But equally horrifying was the post-October 7 explosion of hatred towards Jews in Israel. It was a wake-up call for Jews in Israel and around the world who thought that maybe anti-Semitism had died with the 6 million slaughtered in the Holocaust. Now, I want to interject myself is that I think that contrasted this to a book which was written 30 years ago or 40 years ago, about the same time, by Meir Kahane, a person who's reviled by the majority of the liberal Jewish community. But actually, he wrote a book called Why Be Jewish? Jews in this country and in the Western world have lost track of who they are. And our Gentiles friends, our Gentiles surrounding us, are reminding us that we're not like them. Now, let's go on. I began rewriting this book 2 years before the October 7th massacre, truth be told. I had been sitting on it unwritten for more than actually 30 years, never feeling that time was right. After my personal Jewish wake-up in high school, I went on a journey of intellectual and spiritual exploration, beginning with my university studies and continuing yeshiva Torah study. I had hesitated to write because, although the conclusions are very meaningful, the ideas challenge conventional wisdom, sacred cows, what I would call the orthodoxy in much of academia and the Jewish world. I am not afraid of speaking my mind, stirring controversy, or going against the mainstream, nor do I mind being disliked. But I didn't think the ideas would be heard, and I didn't want to waste my time and breath. And that's actually, I saw Meir Kahane several times. Was nothing wrong with what he said, but in the late 1970s, and I think that's about the time he was doing this, there was no audience outside of the Orthodox community. There just wasn't an audience for what he had to say. But now, we're many years later, we're 50 years later. With a generation more open to new ideas and enough distance from the Holocaust, I thought my somewhat radical approach could be considered objectively and not simply rejected due to cognitive dissonance. Just take a look at this. Who's afraid of the big bad Jew? That's cognitive dissonance if I've ever seen it. So this is my wish, at least, that with this book, I can help deepen our conversation around the meaning of both Jew hatred and the Jewish people. So we'll hold this right here. This will be our beginning introduction to this rabbi. I'm going to tell you something, Raphael Shore. I never knew him before, but he's been around. He's a videographer. He's made many documentaries, films. This isn't a lightweight, and we'll find out what we have to do as we go to the next year.